this is about implementing a library application, and I have already provided you with some tests to get you started with a test-driven development feeling. So first we have to start Eclipse. And the first step here, what we have to do is to import the library 1 application. We say import. We want to import an existing project into Workspace. And we select an archive file. We have to select this. And we look for the archive file, which is here. There it is, library01 zip. We open this. And you can see that this contains an Eclipse project because you can see which project to import, and we then just say finish. Now this project, as you can see, contains an error, and it contains no source at all, but it already contains a set of tests. The set of tests are in the package DTU library app, and we have test add book and test search book. Now if we look into the tests, then we can see that here we can see that we have one test, and the remaining tests are yet commented out. And the process will be, because we want to simulate test-driven development, first this test will be implemented by providing code, and then when this test runs, the next test will be uncommented here, and of course it will fail, and you implement the second test. Now let's try to see what we need to have set up for this project. I already included the JUnit libraries into the project. If we go here to properties of the project and then to the Java build path, then you can see that here in the libraries we already include JUnit 4. If you create a new Eclipse project, then JUnit won't be included, so you have to then go to add library, add JUnit, next, and then choose JUnit 4. We're going to use JUnit 4 because this allows us to use annotations to mark methods as test methods. Previously, JUnit 3 had to have special names for tests. So we have now made sure that JUnit is in the library path, and then I do something which I've already set up here in this example project. I like to have two different source paths. One source path for the production code and another source path for the test code. The reason is that sometimes we would like to access with our test classes code that in the production class that should not be public. So I would like to have my test classes being part of the packages, the same package as the classes I'm testing. But on the other hand, I don't want to ship the test classes. So I'd rather do this in two source trees. One source tree contains the production code source and the other the test code, and I can only ship something which is in the source code, and I don't ship the test code. But still I have the possibility to have test code in the same package as the class I'm testing, and thus I can access a little bit more than if I would have my tests in a different test package. Now if you want to add a new folder, you just say here add folder, and you create a new folder. And actually what you should be doing later is you should create your own test student folder so that I can supply you with my tests, but you can write your own tests and they don't get mixed up. So, okay. Now, we see here a test method, and the test method that tests very simply that you can log in. That there is a library application. Here we see the library application, and that we can have a method in the library application which says admin logged in. And when I first create a library application, then I want that libup admin logged in returns false. So I'm testing this, and I'm using this test framework assert false, and you will see you have to include the methods for the test framework here with an import static org junit assert equals, and actually the remaining assertions will be added as soon as you complete them and try to find out what their names are. Now, the next part in this test is that we of course now want to have the admin login, and we log him in with the name or with the password admin. We don't have a username, we just have the password, so the password is admin, and we want to return whether the login was successful or not. Now, in our case, this was a successful login, so we would actually say that login is true. And furthermore, we want now, when we ask the library application whether the administrator is logged in or not, then of course this should also return true here. So we can try to run the test, and we can run the tests here by clicking here on this class and say run as, and you will be offered JUnit test. Of course, it will tell you that there is still compiler errors, and you want to launch the test case or not. In this case, of course, we don't want to launch it and first fix the code. Now, the first, or the code that fails here, or which does not compile, is that library application does not exist. Now, Eclipse has a very good support for test-driven development, so you can write your classes in here that don't exist, and you can get code hints here. This is the light bulb here, and it will now say the error message is that library app cannot be found. And if you click on the light bulb, then you will say to you, okay, I can rename it because maybe I made a naming error, or I can actually create the class. So I will click on create, and I get the Java creation dialog. Now, what I need to be aware is that I should here type in the source, because now this Java class is part of the production class. It is already the right package because I wanted to have it in the same package, and that is it, and then we can finish. So this class doesn't contain a lot, and it should not at the moment. Let's go back to our test class, and we will see that the error is gone here, but we still have errors here and further down. And again, we have the problem that, of course, we have created the library application class, but we have not created yet the method. But here we can do the same trick. We go on create method, yes. Now we have here to be careful and check that everything is correct. So it should be the public attribute, Boolean is also correct, admin logged in, and actually we want to have false here, which is at the moment fine as the default implementation. Again, at the test class, this test is gone, but we still have here our admin login here, and we do the same, we create a method. So now at the moment we don't bother at all thinking about an implementation, a correct implementation. Actually, I can run the test and I can here look, see, run as JUnit test. And of course, test login will fail. And let's see, where does it fail? It's an assertion error here. And we say, see that login was not true. It must be false because it was checking for true and this failed here. Note that this first one actually went through because the default implementation was actually false. Now let's change this and try to make this work. And to do this, we actually only have to return true here. So we again run our test. Here we select the green. Now he has remembered that we want to execute test add book. And okay, we have another assertion error. Now we go here and we say, okay, so here this assert true was okay, but of course this assert true is false. So admin logged in still returns false. Now here we have a problem. We cannot return true on the one hand and false on the other hand. So we have to do something. We have to introduce a variable here that remembers whether we called this admin login or not. Now we just introduce this variable, private logged in, and we say it is false. And here we will return logged in. Of course, I have forgotten here to say what kind of type it is. And what we can remove the comments here. And what we are now saying is that logged in is true. Let's see what this does this do to our test. We run the test is green. Now with test-driven development, we actually see that something is wrong here, because if we look in our application, then we have never checked that the string is the correct password. So whatever we type in there will immediately mean that the administrator is logged in. Now this is something which we need another test for, because we need another test to force us creating more code. So here we uncomment this code, we run our tests, and we find out that of course the test login worked, but the test login failed, did not work. Now let's see first what this test does. So again, we create a new library application, and we again check that by default the administrator is not logged in, and then we try to log in with the wrong password. Now in this case we want to actually have that login returns false and that the administrator is not logged in. Now we have run the test and we can see where do we have our assertion failure, and this assertion failure is of course here, because here we returned in this method just true. So what we actually have to do is we have to say that string, or let's see, admin and equals string, and of course we should not return true, we should return logged in. Now let's run our code, and everything is green. Now from the login feature, this is actually quite sufficient. We know that we have tested for the correct password, and we have tested for the wrong password, and we have tested that the application remembers whether we have logged in or not. If we look in our code, then our code also looks fine. There is no indication that we would like to write some code that is missing. So we're actually done here.